Hey everyone, welcome back. Uh, Today in this video, we're going to be talking about Anchor um, and the current price action that we're seeing for that token. Uh, if you find this video informative, educational, entertaining, please like and subscribe to this channel to get the latest updates on Anchor and any other cryptocurrency. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So before we dive into the daily chart, I'm just going to give you an outlook on this token on the weekly chart. So you can see I have my Fibonacci retracement here mapped out, starting from. And this is obviously uh, Anchor on the Binance exchange. So the earliest data point we have on the weekly is starting in July of 2019. Um, And so I have this is our high right here, drag down your retracement to the cycle low, and then you have your targets mapped out on your fib retracement schematic. So as you can see, our top out target level is the 2.272, which is at 51 cents. You can see when everything was looking positive in terms of the crypto market, every coin was you know going up essentially. Not every coin, obviously, but I would 80 to 90% of the market was on a bull run. You see, once we broke this 0.77 cent level, we had this huge surge up in 1 week um, to almost was it topped out at like 22 cents and then came back down to about 17 cents is where it closed. Um, so breaking that 1.618 level was huge for the coin, and that's where you saw a lot of bullish momentum. Unfortunately, we were essentially trading sideways from that point on, and then Bitcoin essentially shit the bed, and we have broken down uh, below our bull market support band, which is the 20 SMA and the 21 EMA. The you know the 21 week EMA is our green line, the 20 SMA is our red line, and that creates a band, so to speak. And whenever we're below that band, we're kind of bearish. Doesn't mean we're in a bear market, but sentiment is bearish. Um, so right now you can see we're kind of let me kind of zoom in here. You see we're sitting below you know this bull market support band. But that doesn't mean it's all bad news from here. As you may know, or as you may not know, a lot of these altcoins, a lot of their price action is somewhat dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin has a fairly negative day, um, 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, you're going to see the altcoin that you're watching have a negative day. Um, Unless there is a milestone that it reaches, like let's say for whatever reason we get above this support band and Bitcoin has a negative day, we're going to see some support at this support band. That's why it's called a support band. But we're not going to see a negative day, so to speak, or we're not going to see as negative of a day as Bitcoin has. Um, so yeah, uh, a lot of the price action is dependent on Bitcoin, but that's not to say that we can't have some positive days or some bull runs while Bitcoin is trading sideways. Or we can't have more positive days or a more positive day than Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin goes up 3%, who knows? You could see Anchor go up 10%. Um, so that's just kind of the behavior of altcoins in general. Um, but as far as looking at this coin on the weekly, we're sitting right below that 1.618 level again, and we're sitting here currently at 70 or not 70 uh, 0.073 cents. Um, and you can see for this weekly candle, we basically have hit our head on that level, on that 1.618 level. So something to look out for is a potential close above this level. If we get a close above this level, that is a solid sign for something to build off of in the coming weeks. If we can establish this 1.618 level as a line of support rather than a line of resistance and break that, then that is something to build off of for the coming weeks and months. Um, as you can see here, I also have this green line, trend line that's, you know, a solid line of support. I have that drawn from this wick down, and then it touching the beginning of that bull surge that we had starting back in the beginning of the year, mid January. Um, so let's see. We'll see if we can respect that line. And if you look at the current, downtrend descending resistance line that we have here, starting from the 12th of April, we have a convergence here at almost 10 cents. Um, not going to say that that's what's going to happen. We're going to just like trug along this support line until we hit this this convergence point, and then we'll have to make a decision: are we going to spring up or are we going to die back down? But that's just an area to look at. So that would be actually, or around mid-August. Um, Early to mid-August is definitely going to be a time to keep an eye on to see if we're actually, even if we're maintaining this support line. But let's go ahead and dive into the daily and take a more in-depth look at the price action. All right, so here we have Ankr on the daily time frame, and as you can see, for the past few days, we're kind of just hovering in this little range here, and tapping a couple times up onto the 1.618 level. Um, Unfortunately, we can't get too many more taps before we get an ultimate rejection. We start to come back down into a resistance, or not resistance, but downward trend. Um, but one of the positive things is that we ultimately we broke this resistance line here, about a week and a half ago when we had this uh, huge move up to the upside, and then ultimately we held above here, fell back down, but then eventually broke this resistance line. We haven't come back down um, to test it for support. We did do that right here, but this is kind of our little safety barrier here at this point. So I don't think you're going to see prices fall below this level. And you see, we have this convergence here of the resistance line, which is now going to be our support line, and this upward support line. Um, so I guess it's just a matter of time now whether we're either going to fall below this support line that we've um, drawn out right here, or if we're eventually going to squeeze up past our 1.618 level and start to make headway and attack our bull market support band. Um, and then once we can get past this bull market support band, we then can attack this large resistance line that I've drawn out. And that it isn't until we can break this large resistance line um, that we can actually start making new highs. Um, so it's definitely going to take some time. And again, a lot of this is dependent on Bitcoin. It's going to probably take some time for Bitcoin to make new all-time highs. So we will see what happens in the coming days and the coming weeks with regards to Ankr. I have a feeling that this is just going to range in between, potentially, this area over here. But so far, things are looking somewhat solid. Uh, this positive candle here is a good sign of at least some bullish sentiment in this current uh, market. If we take a look at our RSI, so you see for the past few weeks, we have an ultimate downward resistance line here, starting from the very beginning of that uh, pulse upwards in late March, early April. So we've drawn out this big resistance line here, but that one we can kind of ignore for now. Right now, what is important is that we've broken this resistance line that started back in mid-April. As you can see, we've been trending down since mid-April in terms of relative strength. We've tapped it a few times, come up, tapped it, come up, have tapped it, but it wasn't until this daily candle that we actually broke this resistance line, and then we came back down here on the relative strength index and actually held that resistance line as support, and we're starting to make our way back up. Um, if we can break this resistance line here, that might be the telltale sign that we are going to start making uh, a push upward. I have no idea when that's going to be. I have no idea if it's going to take a long time, if it's going to be in the short term, but I do know that we're not going to be able to make any new all time highs or any new highs in the short term until we break this large line of resistance. So keep an eye out on that. I'll keep an eye out on that, and I will keep updating on this coin when major things and major price action occurs. So please stay tuned. And if you like this video, you find it educational, entertaining, please like and subscribe. Thank you and have a good one.